Okay, today I'm going to present you a demo, and the topic is disaster recovery with OCI QUEUE. As you can see on my tenant here, I'm in Paris, but Paris is the primary region. Marseille is the DR region. You can see zero visible message in queue. So let's go to primary region, Paris. I have two queues here, and in order to create a solution on how to do a DR with OCI QUEUE, because by default you have not the feature DR with OCI QUEUE, I created a code using a last feature of OCI QUEUE, means fan out consumer groups. You can see now by default, when you create a queue, you have a primary group here, consumer group. So each time you put a message in a queue, the primary group has the message, and you can create a consumer reading message from the primary group. Okay. But you can add another consumer group here, replication Marseille consumer group, with a filter expression. A filter expression here is using a field in the message in order to say, okay, this message must go in this consumer group or not. So with this filter expression, each time one message in the JSON, for example, has this field, replication equal Marseille, then this message will go in the replication Marseille group, ensured by default in the primary group. So your code can read messages from primary group, process the message, and so on and so on, do the job. But another program called MirrorMaker, with Kafka, you have MirrorMaker 2. That is a nice component responsible for allowing you to do DR between primary and DR region. And I created a code here that is listening messages on the replication consumer group in order to send them to the DR region. Okay. This code is here. As you can see, MirrorMaker OCI QUEUE, very simple code. I'm sure I used codex to code it because it's very simple. And you can see that in the properties, you can have several queues that will be replicated. Here, I have a consumer listening to the primary myFanOut queue, another consumer reading messages in myFanOut queue 2 on the primary region. Here, I stop the local mirror maker because I have deployed it in a container instance. Okay, and I'm going to show you that. Let's go. Sending message on the two queues. Okay, it is started. Very nice. As you can see here, I put my code in container instances because it's very nice to use this kind of serverless service to deploy your code like MirrorMaker for OCI QUEUE and run it. Okay. And to do that, sure, I use a nice project from my colleague Mika, CI Compose, that allows you to deploy very easily a container in container instances. And as you can see on the screen here, I created a deployment with a tool here. And in this deployment, I put to a sidecar in order to send the logs of MirrorMaker, my MirrorMaker, to OCI logging. Okay. That's why In the container instance, I have my mirror maker as a container, version 2 here, and I have the log writer, a sidecar, in order to send automatically the log of mirror maker to OCI logging. Okay. Well, probably it's running very well. As you can see, I have Prometheus metrics here on my container instances and my mirror maker. I can have a look to Marseille very quickly. If I have a look to Marseille. Okay, so in Marseille, I have messages, and it's perfect because messages are replicated from Paris. As we can see too, on the primary region, messages are consumed here for my fan out queue and my fan queue too. Okay. Another thing. So you have logging, integration with OCI logging, integration with OCI container instance. Okay. And at the end, in my mirror maker, I have to an integration with alarm. Okay. Because in the code, yes, I added a part of the code in order to send metrics on service destination in order to be able to create alarm. And for example, on my metric namespace, custom OCI mirror maker. So here I have a custom alarm. As you can see, I can have my own namespace in metrics with my own metrics for my custom mirror maker. So at the end, I have a simple component that allows me to replicate X number of queues from a primary region Paris to the DR region Marseille with just a simple component, easily deployed in container instances, easily integrated with OCI logging, and integrated with OCI alarm. Okay, this service, metric service, that allows me to create a lot of alarms. For example, if I have a number of copy error, imagine I want to copy the message to Marseille, I have an error, and then I will have an alarm. Okay, so it's a kind of nice solution that you can implement yourself. Okay, mirror maker like for OCI QUEUE in order to be able to have a DR. Now, just before the end of the video, this video, it's not like Kafka OCI QUEUE. You have not an offset. Okay, so when you will do the switch from the primary region to the DR region, you do not have an offset. It means the consumer doesn't know where to start reading the message. So you have two options. The application could be okay now to process twice the same message without error. This is the first solution. Or the second solution is when you are replicating the message from primary to DR, okay, it's not enough. So it means when you are processing the message on the primary region, after processing the message, you have to send, for example, an information in a table, processing table, in order to know that this message is processed. In this case, after the switch on the DR region, before processing the message, you can have a look in this processing table and say, oh no, this message is already processed, so I have nothing to do. Okay. But generally, the better option is to have an application that is able to process twice the same message without error. Okay, thank you for your attention.